So Roger, tonight we're going to play This or That, our usual kind of icebreaker for the episode, where we help to relate to our collectors. Often this topic is suggested by our collectors and our viewers, and tonight we're doing smart-sized dive watches from military backgrounds, both 2017 novelties, and we speak of them now in the 11th hour of the 2017 model year. We're talking about the Blancpain Tribute to 50 Fathoms mil-spec, 40.3 millimeters. This is a 40 millimeter 500-piece limited edition, a tribute to the late 1950s mil-spec model of the original Blancpain 50 Fathoms. This one has a caliber 1151 100-hour automatic inside, a dial reminiscent of those first 1957 to 58 military models, and available on sailcloth, a NATO strap, or bracelet. It is some serious coin here. This is going to be roughly $15,900 US to get it on a strap and about $17,000 on a bracelet. So, Roger, your alternative, and it could be either or neither nor, but is the Panerai Luminor Submersible 1950 3 days, PAM 682. Debuted this year at SIHH, the first 42 millimeter Luminor submersible and a 1950 case to boot. Display case back, rather unexpected display case back. You can see the caliber 9010, 3 days automatic movement, free sprung, full balance bridge, very tough. It's got a wonderful time zone feature for jumping the hour in increments. 300 meters, it's an ISO diver, and for $8,700 with Panerai's proprietary quick release lug system, you're getting a lot for your money. So Roger, are you going to pay the premium for the Blancpain, or are you going to go with practicality and value with the Panerai?
I'm struggling with the proposition you presented to me. They're both two absolutely fantastic watches. The good news for me is that the Panerai for me is too small. As a Panerai 42 millimeter, that just doesn't do it for me. So, but at the same time, the Blancpain is 40 millimeters, which is for my wrist, because I happen to have a larger wrist than maybe the average, it's too small as well. But in this occasion, I would go for the Blancpain. I think that the 50 Fathom has one, if not the most captivating history in the development of the dive watches, of the dive watch category. So yeah, I would go for the 500 limited edition mil-spec 50 Fathoms.
And I'll mention to all of you out there who may think as Roger does, well, you know, for the price of that reference 5008, I could have the 45 millimeter full stainless steel reference 5015, or as we know it today, the modern 50 Fathoms. So you could have a 5015 and 45 millimeters full-size watch, all the same refinements, plus you got the caliber 1315, tougher, and a 5-day power reserve. Is that your choice running away?
Given that option, yes, of course. It's the perfect size for me. I always had a very special relationship with that watch. I was fortunate enough to cover it in 2007 when they relaunched it in Cannes. And it's a terrific watch. It's one of the most beautiful divers ever. And in this instance, it's large enough for my wrist.
Fair enough. So I always like to say this is the Cadillac of dive watches, and for you Europhiles, the Mercedes S600 Maybach Pullman. This or That by viewer request. Yes, I do take requests for our This or That feature. This is where I propose two watches to Jason. He tells me which one he'd take and why. Now, Michael K has asked, I would like to purchase a chrono. I'm thinking of the new Omega Speedmaster Chrono 38 millimeter black. I'm also thinking about a Zenith Chronomaster El Primero 38 millimeter in stainless steel, or a chrono you would recommend no more than 40 millimeters. We're going to start with the two he proposes, and then I'm going to throw in two options toward the end. Jason, which would you take? The Omega Speedmaster Chrono 38 millimeter black just came out. It's a this month version of a watch released this year in Basel. 4,900 US, caliber 3330, coaxial 54-hour power reserve, automatic, COSC, silicon hairspring, basically a Valjoux 7753 on super steroids, 100 meters water resistant. Or would you go with the Zenith Chronomaster El Primero with the classic 1969 style dial, 38 millimeters in steel, 6,700 US, so a little bit more money, almost $2,000 more. But you do get the 50-hour power reserve, the high beat escapement. You get the history of the El Primero dating back to 1969, one of the first 3 automatic chronographs. Also 100 meters water resistant, available in a couple of different varieties. Which one do you take and why?
So whenever we do the this or that, I usually try and pitch what I would personally take out of that collection to wear. And I always have a hard time kind of settling on a 38 millimeter Speedmaster. I know it's a reissue. I know the new lugs are complex, and the watch probably sits a little bit more like a 39. I have a soft spot in my heart for the El Primero. I always have. I love that 5 hertz movement. I love the 69 dial. And while 38 would not be my selection, I would go with the larger size case. I understand in this specific instance we're talking about that size range. So those 2 watches, I would pick the El Primero.
Two-tone flagship chronographs from 2 August manufacturers. I'm going to say this one's for the millennial ladder climbers who have outgrown hipster totems of status and finally actually have some money to spend. So tonight, Omega Moonwatch Coaxial Master Chronometer Moon Phase Chronograph. For those keeping score, it's going to be all the air in my lungs here. It's Omega reference 304.23.42.06.001, 14,300 US. Shockingly good for a yellow, gold, and steel two-tone watch. I have to say, Omega, please crop your names and reference numbers. The product is unarguably awesome. So I'm happy with that. 44.25 millimeters, mainly in steel with yellow gold accents, 18 karat yellow gold and green ceramic bezel. This is a handsome watch that came out at Basel World 2016. It was a boutique exclusive, 100 meter water resistance, so this is an all-arounder as sports watches and everyday carry goes. Caliber 9904. It's not just a chronometer, it is the Métas Master Chronometer standard, carrying the 4-year warranty, and it is a 60-hour power reserve, vertical clutch, column wheel, function selection, and chronograph actuation, twin mainspring barrels, display case back, and I should say silicon amagnetic hairspring on a full balance bridge free sprung. Very tough, very precise. Jason, that's your first choice. I don't know, are you prejudiced in favor of Omega over Zenith? Because Zenith has got a strong response.
Well, so the second choice is a Zenith?
The second choice is a Zenith. We love the brand, so but let me tell you what's
I'm going to ask you to repeat all of that over again.
Of course, and I've got all night, guys. But Zenith Chronomaster El Primero Grand Dot Full Open reference, come on guys, don't do this to me, 51.2530.4047/78.c 810. Okay, Zenith, you're guilty of the same. Pare down those reference numbers. Look how Rolex does it, and they've made like 1 billion watches. Okay, so Zenith, rich rose gold and steel case, really handsome, 45 millimeters, a Basel World 2017 debut and one of the best in the Zenith Basel World Novelties collection. This is a watch that also has 100-meter water resistance, so though it's fine, it's also tough, and it has a full open dial with the grand date, double-digit twin disc, moon phase and sun moon phase. So not only do you have the 29.5-day moon phase, but you also have the 24-hour cycle of the sun and the moon to keep that romantic dial a little bit less static. And finally, you've got the high beat El Primero chronograph, 10 beats a second, 52-hour power reserve, column wheel actuation, and really awesome dial detail with depth and color and visual interest such that you really don't need to look at the display case back to entertain yourself. 12,200 US. Jason, which one do you take for yourself and why?
So I think first and foremost, so we start looking at the movements. So I love that 9904. I think it's fantastic. All the improvements to that movement are, standalone. I personally, if I was going to choose one and just choose it to own it, like we always talk about, I think the Zenith gains a little bit of my favor. The green ceramic bezel on the Speedy is nice, but besides that, for me, the true Speedmaster has to be a 42 millimeter and it has to be manual.
Okay.
Okay, so when I start looking at Speedmasters that are 44.25 and you're talking about automatic movement and it's a limited edition, which let's be honest, there's tons of limited edition Speedmasters. I think the Zenith brings something a little bit more special. I love the Grande date. Not always a fan of open work movements, but I think that this is clean enough that I could get away with wearing it on a daily basis. And I think it's just, overall, I like the strap a little bit better too. I think it's a handsome watch.
Okay, I would never make the strap be the deciding factor for me, but it sounds like there's a lot to distinguish these two from each other. For me, the Omega would be the choice. I love green. I actually find the use of yellow gold here to be rarely exquisite. Like, this is something, two-tone yellow gold and an oversized steel case. You ask me intuitively, would I like this? No, but the way Omega has resolved it, the balance of the colors, the use of the accenting, especially that green and gold ceramic bezel, this is a special piece that speaks to me. So while I am a Zenith fanboy, this would be my choice of the two.